If it's Wednesday night, you know what that means. It's time to get to some mayhem. Wednesday Night Mayhem live on YouTube and StreamYard.com is on the air. What's up, people? What is up? I am good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside my buddy Anthony Florio. We are awaiting the presence of Michael Bullock. If he shows up, great. If he doesn't, then, you know, we'll probably see him tomorrow night for the season finale of College Football Thursday. I was debating about starting this show at 10 o'clock, but after what the hell just happened at the end of AEW Dynamite, I think Florio and even Michael Bullock would have agreed we need to start at 10:30 because we're gonna have a lot to talk about, especially at that end. Some people were happy, some were pissed. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But before we jump off, we do have to do NXT 2.0, and it was held last night. And here we go, guys. So what we had was we jumped it off with the first fight of the evening, and this was actually a crucial match. This was very important, guys, as this was the ladder match that was to determine who on earth was going to get the one woman advantage in the upcoming War Games match. That's right, you heard me, War Games, for the women. And it was Dakota Kai representing Team Toxic Attraction going up against Kaylee freaking Ray as she was representing Team Raquel Gonzalez. The winner of the bout in the ladder match to gain the one woman advantage in the War Games was Kaylee Ray. Yes, she wins the match in 14:06. I gotta say it. Heck of a start. Very good match. I'd say about 3.5 stars for me. Both women went for it. There was some good spots in the match. And I'm actually a little surprised. I am actually surprised that Kaylee Ray won this match. Going into it, I really thought they were going to give it to Toxic Attraction. I thought they were going to give it to Dakota Kai. I thought they were going to give them the one woman advantage. No, they don't get it. Kaylee Ray wins it for Team Raquel Gonzalez. And now it's Raquel Gonzalez's team that gets the power play, as we would say, when War Games begins. Of course, if you don't know what War Games is, or you're going to be watching this for the very first time, here are the rules in War Games. I'm going to go very briefly because we got a lot to cover tonight. The match starts with two women in the ring at the same time, and the remaining members are going to be locked up in individual cages, shark cages, and it'll be at the top of the rampway. The first period lasts 5 minutes long. After the 5 minutes, because Team Raquel Gonzalez won the match, they will be allowed to send their second member out, giving them the power play 2-on-1. After the 2 minutes expires, then Team Toxic Attraction will get to send their second member, goes 2-on-2. Kaylee Ray's team will send their third, 3-on-2. Toxic Attraction will send their third member, making it 3-on-3. They will alternate every 2 minutes until all 8 women are in the War Games cage. It is 2 rings and a steel cage encompassing the entire 2 rings. After all 8 are in, the match beyond begins, and under these circumstances, you can win the War Games by pinfall or submission. That's the only difference, where the traditional War Games, or Blood and Guts, as AEW did it, you only could win by submission or surrender. Basically, there will be 2 referees in each there will be 2 referees, 1 in each cage, and the head referee has final say in War Games. With that said, Anthony Florio, now that I broke it down, give me your thoughts. Kaylee Ray wins it, and she gives Team Raquel Gonzalez the power play.
MF, unsurprisingly, this was really good. Kaylee Ray is one of the best women's wrestlers on the roster, proved throughout her NXT UK Women's Championship run. She has not gotten a chance to show it in NXT 2.0 until now. She was in control of this match, sending Dakota Kai reeling with her fast, impactful offense. It was hard to predict who would win, but Kaylee Ray needed a big moment to cement her impact for the women's team. While it is usual for the heels to have the advantage in War Games, NXT uses this match type too often to always tell the same story. The faces will look to divide and conquer against Toxic Attraction. This was a 3.5 to 3 3/4 star match. I could say second best fight of the night. I thought there was one match that was better, actually, and we'll get to that later. But for right now, great way to jump off, and the scary Queen of Scots does it again, and Team Raquel has the advantage going into the War Games match, and we'll dive more into that on Friday night when we preview War Games as part of the Cerebral Smack Talks. So not much more to say. MF, set me up for the next match.
All right, and we will set you up here. I'm debating on this one, Florio. It was Cameron Grimes versus Andre Chase. Grimes won the match in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm thinking, yeah, okay.
No.
I was thinking that too. We were just gonna leave that alone. What we do have, and I think we'll definitely get into this, Legado del Fantasma going up against Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly. The winners will get a title shot at the NXT World Tag Team Championship against Imperium, and that will be at War Games. And the winners of the bout in 9 minutes and 7 seconds, and the team that will indeed get that title shot, it will be Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner. They win the match. Anthony Florio, it's yours, and then we'll fill in Michael Bullock on what he missed.
Yes, indeed. 3 to 3 1/4 stars here. What's his name? Joaquin Wilde, that's it. Joaquin Wilde and Kyle O'Reilly had a great sequence in the middle of this match. That was the only heated moment in this match. The rest was perfectly fine, but it just never felt like the two teams with plenty of story behind them got on the same page. The right team took the win. Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly have the story to tell with Imperium. It should be a good match that gives Wagner his best spotlight yet. Imperium should not lose, but it should be a hard-fought battle. So I'll give this roughly 3 stars, teetering on 3 1/4, but I'm leaning more towards 3 stars for this effort. So there isn't much more to say. Let's get the phenom Michael Bullock in here and get him caught up. You didn't miss much, Bullock. So
no, you didn't miss much, Mikey. What we did start out with is we did start with Kaylee Ray and Dakota Kai. Kaylee Ray wins the match in 14 minutes and 6 seconds. That gives her team the woman advantage, or like me and Floyer were talking about, the power play as it pertains to War Games on Sunday night.
Yeah, 3.5 stars is my rating on this match. I mean, Kaylee Ray getting a big win here for this team, and I don't know about you, Fletch, but I think Dakota Kai became her own worst enemy. I mean, because you saw, she was up there all by herself and had a chance to grab the briefcase, and she decided to hit a high-risk maneuver, and boy, that backfired on her.
But I think the reason why is because I think Kaylee Ray actually grabbed her ankle or grabbed her foot from underneath the ladder. I don't think we had a good vantage point, but it looked like she was unable to go up because I think Kaylee Ray actually got a grab of her leg at one point before she tried to go for the final ascent to for the briefcase. I mean, she was inches away, yes, but I actually think Kaylee Ray might have grabbed her leg unbeknownst, because I don't know why, but the NXT camera guys, I think, might have missed it. But I thought I saw her grab the ankle or something. I know she had a grab of her foot.
Well, I didn't quite see it when I watched it, but basically, I mean, from what I saw, I mean, she was literally right up there, and then basically decided to hit a finishing or a high flying maneuver. I mean, it's kind of like when Seth Rollins, I mean, became his own worst enemy when he basically attacked the wrong guy, and I mean that's just how I feel about it. But a big mistake by Dakota Kai, but Kaylee Ray takes advantage of the opportunity, and there you go. The Kaylee Ray and her team now have the advantage going into War Games against Toxic Attraction and Dakota Kai, so there's really nothing more to say.
And the other match that we did just talk about, because there was one match, it was supposed to have been, it was supposed to be, oh man, okay, got it. It was originally, we didn't talk about this one, so we threw it away. Cameron Grimes versus Andre Chase. Cameron Grimes wins the match in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. We didn't mention that, Bullock, so you don't have to. But then after that, we did talk about Legado del Fantasma going up against Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly. O'Reilly and Wagner won the match in 9 minutes and 7 seconds. They're now the number one contenders for the NXT tag team titles.
Yeah, it's a 3-star rating for me on this one. I mean, yeah, I think the right team basically went over here. And I mean, yes, Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner, I mean, could be tough for Imperium, but I see Imperium still walking out with the titles come Sunday night.
All right, and I agree with that. 3 stars for me as well. There's really nothing more to add. All right, we're not going to get into this because I don't want Florio nor Michael Bullock to get into a rant here, but it needs to be addressed. Joe Gacy went up against 2 enhancement talents. One was a guy, the other one was a female. Gacy won the first match in 1 minute. Then the other one was an apparent no contest. And now, what I've been told, and this really is going to burn up Michael Bullock and Florio, because now Joe Gacy now can fight for the Cruiserweight title. And on top of that, the 205-pound weight limit that you're supposed to be in has been waived. So he could actually basically wrestle over 205 pounds, and the title is on the line.
Excuse me? I mean, NXT, this is why your show has gone down the freaking toilet. I mean, the Cruiserweight title is supposed to be for those that are like around 205 pounds or less. And now you're waiving it for this ham and egg jabroni douchebag? Oh, this really freaking irks me. And this is why, I mean, you're basically degrading the Cruiserweight title. I mean, I just don't get this. I mean,
dude, I got a bad feeling now. Because of the fact that they waived the 205 level and waived the that you have to weigh at 205 for this match, this literally opens the door for, like, I'm about to say it. I think we're gonna have a new champion now. Going into this, I thought no way Gacy was gonna get the belt. Now that they actually waived the 205 limit on him, and said that he could actually fight for this belt, and I don't know if this is a one-off but this better not be a one-off. I mean, this better be a one-off. This better be a one-time thing for Gacy, because I got a sneaky and horrible feeling he's walking out with that belt on Sunday night now. I mean it.
Gosh, I hope not. Otherwise, I'm really gonna go off big time.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. Now I got a really sick feeling that I think we're gonna witness I think history is gonna be made on Sunday night. I really think Joe Gacy, the master manipulator, might have just manipulated his way to the Cruiserweight Championship of the world. And if you're pissed off about this, imagine Anthony Florio. This guy's been running 205 for ever since the 205 division was brought back. This was his. This is his baby right now. And if Joe Gacy wins this belt on Sunday night,
Papa's going to be pissed.
Oh,
Bullock's going to have to get in line. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I'm right behind you, Florio. I'm right behind you because
jeez,
I don't get why Joe Gacy is getting this opportunity. I mean, that stupid manipulator with his stooge-like sidekick, which I don't. I mean, I don't know who the hell is worse, Joe Gacy or that guy, that Cameron Grimes face.
Duke Hudson?
Duke Hudson?
No, not Duke Hudson. The guy he faced last night.
Yeah, the guy I have a problem with, Andre Chase. Stupid Chase U. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know who's worse.
Chase is worse. Let's be realistic. But then again, this
Gacy.
But
I think Joe Gacy is a close second.
They're both up there. They're both up there, Bullock and MF. You wanted me to get into this whole cruiserweight thing. I'll tell you what. I mean, yes. What really started it for me was the Cruiserweight Classic. You remember that, and that was hella fun. I watched that thing religiously, and I enjoyed every single show. I mean, there were a couple of fights in there here and there, but so many of them were so damn good. And I loved Mauro Ranallo and Bryan Danielson on commentary. They were fun on commentary. I mean, go back and relive that son of a gun. Let me tell you. I mean, you'll have a lot of fun, especially.
It's on Peacock, folks.
What's that?
It's on Peacock, folks.
Hell yeah, it is. And then of course 205 Live, which just celebrated its 5th anniversary. It just had its 5-year anniversary a couple days ago or so ago. So yeah, I mean, 205 was always the weight, and you remember back in 2003, Matt Hardy. You remember the cruiserweight limit was like 220 back then, and Matt Hardy was losing all this weight, and he got down to the 220, won the cruiserweight championship, and had that very good cruiserweight title match with Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania 19, which led off the show and the main card anyway.
Now that was damn good. This here,
Cruiserweight Classic was damn good too, but
this year, no.
Yeah, and 205 Live has really lost its luster too. You've heard the harsh criticism I've given on 205 Live. It's become an almost NXT 2.0 like almost.
Yeah.
And it's a damn shame because those shows about a year or so ago were hella fun to watch, but nowadays I'm starting to get bored. I'm going to be honest with you.
Everybody's starting
with 2.0. Just like with 2.0, I'm starting to get damn bored too.
My message to you guys: do not put the title on Joe Gacy. I know it's wishful thinking, but please don't do it, or you're really going to hear me go off big time. So just move on.
I'm afraid of if I have to announce the winner of the bout and new cruiserweight champion of the world, what the hell might happen on Sunday night? I might have to duck and hide.
Throw in the history has been made, Monsoon.
Huh?
Throw in the history has been made, Monsoon.
I'm afraid of what might happen if I do say history has been made.
It'll make for good. It'll make for a good. It'll make for solid ratings. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, about that, Florio. Then we had another match. Solo going up against Idris. Solo won the match. 4 minutes and 20 seconds. We don't really need to get into that. Then we had a tag team match. Portia and Indy. They went up against Yutsla and Valentina Fraza. Portia and Indy wins the match in less than 2 minutes. But we're going to get into this. Michael Bullock is going to lead it off, I believe. This is our main event of the evening. This was the match that was going to see who is going to get the man advantage on the men's War Games match. Team Black and Gold had Johnny Gargano. Team NXT 2.0 had Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker wins the match. 14 minutes, 10 seconds. Michael Bullock, NXT 2.0 is on the power play.
Yes, they are on the power play for this one, and this right here was a really good match. I'll give this about maybe 3.5, maybe teetering on 3 3/4 when it comes to this. I mean, yeah, Braun Breaker gets a big win for his team. So, but will it transition over to victory for his team on Sunday night? We'll just have to wait and see. And then we had that epic brawl to end the show with these two teams. So definitely build some hype for this one. So there's nothing more to say, Fletch. It's yours.
3.5 for me. Excellent match. Very good match. You can even make an argument fight of the night. At the end, though, I kind of feel like the right man won. The right man won. They deserved the victory here. So there was really nothing more for me to add. I thought they did a really good job with it. Solid close to the show. And even the post-fight brawl was amazing. So, yeah, Anthony Foyer, it's yours.
Fight of the night for me, this was 4 stars. Johnny Gargano is Mr. NXT. He is the heart and soul in WWE's attempt to build new stars. He just gave Braun Breaker his best match to date, his first truly great showing. It made the big man look like an absolute main event player in a contest that could have fit on any WWE show at any time. This was a top-notch contest to set the stage for War Games. It is clear that NXT 2.0 is starting to find its footing with fresh characters and stories. It is the perfect time for the first big NXT event with those top young stars shining. 4 stars for me. Overall review time.
You know what? I'm going to give this 6 out of 10. I mean, there was, all right, a lot of not so great moments, quick matches, whatever you want to say. But there was some solid storyline stuff. The promo between Breaker and Gargano, I thought that was really good. I really thought them emphasizing on the women's War Games match. I thought they did good about that. The hair versus hair, yeah, it's a little campy, but I love the fire from Cameron Grimes. I thought Grimes' promo was nice. It was okay. But the thing was, what really made the show really good and what actually gave the show a passable grade this time around, very good matches. The 2 ladder matches absolutely were amazing. Absolutely. The women's and the men's ladder matches were amazing. They both hit on so many levels. And that tag team matchup between Legado del Fantasma with O'Reilly and with Wagner, that actually worked. And that was very good. So I thought they were kind of a little more positive than negative this time around. Definitely NXT 2.0 is still a work in progress. Like, they are light years behind where they were about a year ago. Ever since, the transition and them trying to say, oh, it's developmental, it's no longer the number 3 company now, you could tell they're going further and further away from Raw and SmackDown. They're no longer the third option. They're no longer the third brand of WWE. they have definitely regressed in the past. But for this to be a go-home show for War Games, this was okay. This was actually serviceable. This was actually decent. I'm not gonna wave the black and gold brand banner hanging going around with it yet. But as far as War Games goes, I'll give it a chance. I'm a little more apprehensive. I feel like War Games has a chance to be like the Halloween Havoc event that was actually good. So I'm actually gonna give it some hope. This was a decent go home show, not the best, not the worst, but it was definitely in the middle. I'll give it a passing grade of 6. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. 6 out of 10. Both ladder matches delivered. Although I like the men's match just a smidgen more than the women's, but both of them were really good. Throwing that solid tag team contender match with Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner against Wild and Mendoza. You had 3 solid matches, but everything else in between, we had about 3 or 4 squash matches, a lot of unnecessary stuff, and Bullock's least favorite got a lot of airtime, and Joe Gacy, that was ridiculousness. That was instant clickbait for me. I turned away from that, and of course the one that gets to me, Mr. Chase U. Yeah, he got his and then some. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Thank you, Cameron Grimes, for that. So, yeah, 6 out of 10 for me. 3 good matches. All the other stuff, yeah, that's really all there is to say on that. I mean, slight improvement, but still a lot of work needs to be done if we're going to take this seriously. So, even though Bullock and I damn near already gave up on it, even though MF is still hanging in there, I mean that's dedication right there. So, but War Games coming up, I'll tell you. I mean, that's got potential there. I mean, the War Games matches is what's going to make or break this. If both of those deliver like what we saw with the ladder matches, then this may have a chance of actually being a good show. But it depends on how the other matches go. I mean, the only match that we're worried about is the Duke Hudson and Cameron Grimes match up with the hair versus hair. But other than that, the War Games matches are looking great. You got a solid tag team title match, and of course that cruiserweight stuff. We're definitely cringing about that. So we'll see what happens. So solid 6 out of 10 for me. So Michael Bullock, solid but not overly spectacular show. You mean he had 3 good matches, but the other stuff, we need to work on. We need to work on the in between.
Yeah, we need a lot of work on the in between. 6 out of 10. I agree. I mean, both ladder matches were good. I mean, you had 3 really good matches, but the other stuff pretty much left to be desired. I mean, like I said, don't get me started on the whole cruiserweight thing with Joe Gacy. I mean, that's just utterly ridiculous with that. So, 6 out of 10 for me. So, let's move on to AEW Dynamite.
And now, gentlemen, we turn to AEW Dynamite from Atlanta, Georgia. We started it off with Bryan Danielson going one-on-one with Allen 5 Angels. The AEW World Heavyweight Champion Hangman Adam Page was in commentary for this one. Bryan Danielson wins the match in 6 minutes and 17 seconds. You know what? Solid match. I mean, it was an effective opener. It made Danielson look good. The post fight comments were really good more than anything else. Danielson gets a lot of heat out of this, and actually, John Silver was looking for a fight but because of the fact that Tony Khan threw a sidebar saying that if either man, Bryan Danielson or Adam Hangman Page, gets into a physical altercation, that they would be suspended and would not be eligible to fight at Winter is Coming, which is going to be the next major event in 2 weeks, guys. That's when it's going to happen. Winter is Coming, a special AEW Dynamite show. Winter is coming, as it will be Bryan Danielson versus Adam Hangman Page, the AEW World Heavyweight title on the line. Anthony Florio, 2.5 stars for me. It is yours.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. 2.5 stars. Alan Angels is always good in these spots. The energetic, dynamic babyface that excels in fighting from underneath creates the impression that he can upset the more established star at any time. And the fans invest in the idea of the impossible as a result. One day, he is going to win one of these matches, and the AEW faithful will erupt accordingly. Bryan Danielson was great here, just taunting everyone in his general area. He is a fantastic antagonist, perhaps even better in that role than he was as a babyface. His interactions with Hangman Adam Page, in which he has ultimately come up with an excuse every time to avoid an actual fight, have been stellar and are planting the seeds for a heated match on December 15th at Winter is Coming in 2 weeks from the Curtis Colwell Center in Garland, Texas. So, Dallas, Fort Worth, brace yourselves. So, that's all there is to say on that. This was a 2.5 star match. Outcome was never in doubt. Every one of us and our mothers knew that Bryan Danielson was going over here. So, next week, he'll be facing one more Dark Order member, and that is maybe the most popular member of the Dark Order, the most over member of the Dark Order, that being John Silver. And I think that might be the best match out of all the Dark Order matches we've seen so far. So I got a good feeling about that one next week in Long Island.
Yeah, absolutely. Because next week, Michael Bullock, he gets to face off with the Meat Man.
Yes, indeed, he does. So, but we'll oh yeah, Meat Man. Yes, that's right. Well documented. Bryan Danielson, vegetarian, and all that eco stuff. Like we remember from a couple years ago with the Planet's Champion. So yeah, so we'll see what happens. But 2.5 stars, and let's remember, gentlemen, Winter is Coming last year. It was tomorrow will be the 1 year anniversary of it. The night that not only Sting returned, but also it was Jon Moxley defending the AEW World Heavyweight title against Kenny Omega. And what happened? Kenny Omega and Don Callis pulled the wool over our eyes. And unfortunately, they became what they became. But it is what it is. So let the bad taste in all our mouths. And I'm hoping they don't go that same route here. So, but we'll see. We'll see. So, this was 2.5 stars, but Michael Bullock, I mean, if Hangman and Bryan in 2 weeks is anything like what we saw last year, hopefully without the screwy finish, if it's anything like last year, we're in for something really, really special. So, Bullock, I give it to you. 2.5 stars.
Yeah, 2.5 stars for me. I mean, yeah, Bryan Danielson is really one heck of an antagonist, and basically he has gone through every member of the Dark Order, and now he's got one more left in the most popular one, in John Silver. And I got a feeling that this is going to be a really good match between these two guys. And this ain't going to be easy for Bryan Danielson before he finally gets to Adam Hangman Page for that AEW World title in a couple of weeks at the Winter is Coming event. And I do agree. I hope we don't get a screwy finish between these two in 2 weeks like we did last year. So 2.5 stars for me. Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, and then the next thing we had was CM Punk versus Lee Moriarty. CM Punk wins the match in 11 minutes and 18 seconds, but then Anthony Florio, here we go again. MJF and CM Punk, another promo. But this time, I want to say, man, it was one thing if you go after CM Punk, but the minute he went after Punk's dog, oh no, 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 no.
No.
You're going too far, MJF.
Oh
You
no.
went too far, bro.
Me being the avid dog lover that I am, yeah, that definitely rubbed me the wrong way. No doubt about that.
And I mean, I'm a dog. Hell, I got a freaking Yorkshire Terrier that I love so much. And
Absolutely.
as soon as I heard him said that, I'm like, you sick son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the dog I love so much, and you're not only rubbing it, I mean, punking CM Punk's dog, you're basically punking out everybody else's dog.
Yeah.
If Punk was fine, and you could tell, Punk was laughing it up. He was yucking it up. He was like, you know what? Okay, fine. Ha ha, everything else. The minute he talked about the dog, that was it. Punk lost it. You could see the mood changed in Punk's expression said the whole freaking story. The minute MJF went after the dog, you could tell that was it. It was go time. You saw it in Punk's eyes. He wanted MJF's butt at that point.
He wanted to beat the shit out of MJF.
Yes, indeed. So, all right, now to the business at hand, which is this match. I gotta. I know I don't often say this, but this is something I gotta give a shout out to our original Imperial Grand Poobah Derek Ferreira, because he did a YouTube short yesterday. He put over this match and he talked about how great this match was going to be, and you know what? Damn it to hell, he was right. And I got to give Derek all the credit in the world, even though that was one of those YouTube short things that they do now. He put this match over big time, and I'm like, all right, Derek, I'll take your word for it. And sure enough, he was right. Got to give him all the credit in the world. So shout out to Derek Ferreira on this one. This was a solid 3.5-star match. I mean, outside of putting Lee Moriarty over Punk here, you cannot possibly book him any stronger than he was here. The 6-year veteran dominated the action, nearly beat Punk on several occasions, and best of all, had fans believing they may see an upset late in the match. He was more than up to the challenge of sharing the ring with one of the biggest stars of the last decade, and earned himself any and all rave reviews he will get as a result. The MJF promo was fine, but it felt like he was reaching for some of the insults, grasping at low-hanging fruit. The Britt Baker lines especially made no sense, given the fact that everyone is very aware that Punk has his own former women's champion wife at home, AJ Lee. The verbal back and forth lacked the punch of last week's showdown, but the appearance of Wardlow at the end of the segment as he came out to protect MJF from a much-deserved ass-whooping sets up Punk for a match with the jacked-up heavyweight sooner rather than later. And MJF also sat in on commentary like Hangman did for the first match. They had, for the first little bit, they had rotating commentators because, as we all know, Jim Ross is going to be out for the next 4 weeks because of the skin cancer radiation treatment. So our thoughts and prayers with JR. And if all goes well, he should be back for that final show of 2021, which will be the final Dynamite on TNT before it moves to TBS on the 29th from the Daily's place in Jacksonville. So we're hoping for that. But Hangman sat in for the first match. MJF sat in on this match, and he's got a future on commentary. Let me tell you that right now. He's got a future in commentary. So he would be a great heel commentator in the near future. But for right now, great matchup here. 3.5 stars, and I was kind of hoping that they would have had MJF and they would have booked Punk versus MJF for that Winter Is Coming show. Give us a solid number 2 match behind Hangman and Danielson. But they're going to be next week. They're going to be doing they're bringing back the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royale, and and the final two will battle it out for that Dynamite Diamond on that winner is coming. So who knows? Maybe that could be CM Punk versus that could be Punk versus MJF. You don't know, because MJF's won that thing the last 2 years. I'm sure they're gonna have MJF get to the final again. Maybe CM Punk joins them, and maybe Punk wins the Dynamite Diamond. Think about that. Something to think about there, guys. But for right now, 3.5 stars. And this is actually the third best fight of the night. There were two other matches that I thought were actually better than this. So that shows you how good this show was tonight. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, I mean, I know it's not often we give Derek Ferreira credit, but I think we should give Derek some credit in this instance, because he put this match over big time on his YouTube short last night, and damn it to hell, he was actually right for once.
Yeah, he was 100% right on this. I mean, at first I'm like, okay, maybe, I mean, it could be good, maybe not great, but when he hyped it, I mean, I thought it was a little overboard, but boy, howdy, he was right on the ball with this, because this turned out to be a really good match. 3.5 stars, I do agree. And yeah, I mean, Moriarty, I mean, he had a chance to pull off the upset, but he basically, CM Punk basically pulled it out in the end, and then, yeah, that the verbal battle between MJF and CM Punk again, I mean, it went another round, and yeah, like we just mentioned about the whole thing insulting CM Punk's dog, yeah, that was not cool, as a former WWE superstar once said. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. I mean, I definitely could see this happening somewhere down the line, CM Punk and MJF, but I think it looks like, for now, Punk is going to have to deal with Big Wardlow. So nothing more to say. Fletch, it is yours.
Yeah, and then the next match that we had, we won't talk about this one, but it was AC Adams versus Wardlow. Wardlow wins the match in 1:27 seconds. Okay, fine, nothing there. But what the hell got into Sean Spears? What did AC Adams do to Sean Spears for him to get waylaid by the freaking chair? I mean, what was that? What was that?
I think that was basically Sean Spears saying, hey, I can do whatever the hell I want to do.
Yeah,
if somebody does that, I'll freaking whack him with a chair. Big time.
I guess so, because good Lord, what the heck happened? That was insane. So right after that, we had ourselves a tag team match, as it was the Gun Club versus Darby Allin and Sting. And when it was all said and done, the winner of the match in that one, in 10 minutes and 12 seconds, was Darby Allin and Sting. They win the match. Michael Bullock, you lead off on this one.
We're talking about the tag team match, right?
Yes, Darby.
And what was the time?
10-12.
All right. I mean, this was a fine match here. I mean, nothing really special to write home about. I'll give this about maybe 2.5 to 3 for the effort here. So, yeah. So there's really nothing more for me to say. So, Fletch, I mean, I thought it was a fine match here.
Yeah, fine match. Good battle. Solid match, to say the very least. About 2.5 stars. Anthony, it's yours.
I'm going to give it a solid 3. I mean, this was a hellishly fun wrestling match that allowed young Colton Gunn to get some quality ring time against one of the top stars in AEW and a living legend. It kept Sting and Darby Allin busy too, without an obvious next feud for them readily apparent in the wake of Full Gear. Hopefully, this was the end of the feud, though. The Gun Club is a solid faction that has its place in AEW, but also felt like a step down for what is a genuine main event attraction for the company. They were elevated by Sting and Darby Allin and could serve as a quality addition to the tag team division, if nothing else. Solid 3 stars. MF, let's move on.
Next up we had was the match to determine who's going to the semifinals of the TBS tournament, as it was Ruby Soho versus Chris Statlander. And Ruby Soho goes to the semifinals. She will now face off with Nyla Rose. The semifinals are now officially set. It will be Thunder Rosa versus Jade Cargill in one semifinal. The other semifinal, Ruby Soho versus the Native Beast, Nyla Rose. And the final will be held on the first Dynamite when we go to TBS. And that night, history will be made as the first ever TBS champion will be crowned. All right, guys, so nothing more to say. Solid match, another 3-star bout. These two women went at it. They went amazing. I'm a little surprised Ruby went over, though. I actually thought it was going to be Chris Statlander. Statlander is actually higher in the rankings. She's done. I really thought that they were going to give her the rub on this, but they give it to Ruby Soho. So, no, excellent match. 3 stars. Anthony, it's yours.
What was that time again?
10 minutes and 12 seconds.
Another 10, 12 for that?
Another 10, 12.
Oh, all right. A small correction here. I meant to say Punk and Moriarty was the second best fight of the night. This was the third best fight of the night here. 3 to 3.25 stars for this. There was good, solid work from both Ruby Soho and Chris Statlander here, but this felt like a match that was just getting started when it went into the finishing sequence. There was another 10 or so minutes to be had here. Easily, that would have really allowed the competitors to shine. Soho winning was the right call, though. It had been a few weeks since she competed on television, thus halting some of the momentum she built up early in her AEW run. A win of this magnitude against an opponent of Statlander's caliber helped turn the tide back in her favor, but she's got an even bigger hill to climb whenever they decide to do it, the matchup between her and Nyla Rose. And I don't know why, but I got this feeling she just might go over here. She just may. But we'll have to wait and see on that. But for me, 3 to 3.25 stars, third best fight of the night. And not much more to say here, except that Michael Bullock, now Ruby Soho's got a really uphill battle against the native beast and former AEW Women's World Champion in Nyla Rose, and also has to deal with Vicky Guerrero outside as well.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough challenge there for Ruby Soho. Yeah, this is basically a 3.25 star match. I mean, this was another really good match. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Ruby Soho's got to deal with Nyla Rose, and she is one step closer to getting to the final. So yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. Fletch, it is yours.
And it leads us to the main event of the evening, as it was Cody Rhodes going one-on-one with Andrade El Idolo in an Atlanta street fight. Cody Rhodes wins the match, and he wins it in 19 minutes, 46 seconds. But Anthony Florio, the biggest talking point that came out of this match was the closing. The final minutes of the match.
Yes.
You saw it. We all know about it, as it was. They were hanged up by the ring, on the corner, and then a masked person comes in. It's Brandy Rose. She starts spraying something on the table. Looked like it was lighter fluid. It was lighter fluid. She, boom, fire, flaming table. Suplex.
Look out.
Off the top. Oh my God.
That's exactly what I had you doing. And, you know, if we really wanted to, we really could have had some fun with this. Woo! Oh my God. And then MF would hit us with the, oh my God, holla Joey Styles. And, oh man. But in all seriousness, no, this was the fight of the night. No doubt about it. 4.25, teetering on 4.5 stars. At what point did the adults involved in this match decide that the Rhodes El Idolo feud was so incredibly hot that it needed a flaming table spot? That was a surprise conclusion to a match that really didn't need to happen and was clearly only there so Cody could star in his hometown. But other than that, I mean, there was nothing about the feud to this point, which is really just an offshoot of Rhodes' program and Malachi Black, that suggested it needed to go to the extremes of that spot. But there were an infinite number of finishes that it could have gone with that would have been safer, could still have been spectacular, and would have given Rhodes the win. Instead, we got the flashy, over-the-top conclusion. But the brawl leading up to it was really good. It was probably Cody Rhodes' best match in months and Andrade's finest since the first match with Pac. It was a good, hardcore brawl that actually managed to turn the hostile home crowd back in Cody's favor. Rhodes was great, showing the appropriate emotion. He was passionate, fed off the positive reaction, and brought the figurative fire to the match. The physicality was on point, and El Idolo was the perfect opponent for him to have this match with. Why they went for the extravagant finish rather than just having a badass street fight with a simple yet effective finish is a question someone will surely try to answer at some point. And where were Malachi Black and Pac, both of whom have played key roles in the feud but were conspicuous in their absence? But other than that little bit of constructive criticism, this was a fantastic match. 4.25, 4.5 stars. Fight of the night. Nothing more to say except Michael Bullock, were you having flashbacks? Did that flaming table spot conjure up memories of WrestleMania 22 with Edge and Mick Foley and the "oh my God" at the end of it?
Oh, this totally reminded me of that hardcore match between Edge and Mick Foley from WrestleMania 22, and yeah, 4.25 to 4.5. I mean, what a match this was, and yeah, that sick finish there with the flaming table. I mean, oh my goodness gracious, this was just freaking nuts. So yeah, nothing more for me to say. Fletch, it's yours.
You know what? I got to talk about it because I know there was a lot of people that really loved the segment and a lot of people really hated it. Some people thought it was idiotic. Some people thought that it was unnecessary. Some people feel like TNT is going to have a heart attack right about now and that they're probably going to get in trouble with TNT here tonight. AEW might be in trouble with TNT for that flaming table spot. If you're the diehard purist, like the ECW fans, you're gonna love it. You're gonna eat that up until the cows come home. If you're a diehard fan of the Attitude Era, you know that yes, that was from WrestleMania 22. That was absolutely freaking awesome. We all remember that. I don't know. I don't know how you're gonna feel. There's gonna be some people that are gonna love it. There's gonna be people that are gonna hate it. There's probably gonna be no in between. I get it why they're trying to push Cody over, and I get it. It's Georgia. That's his home state. He's from Atlanta, so obviously that you wanted him to get the major rub here. But like you said, Florio, and I think it's going to be very telling. Did they really need to go that route? Maybe not. We'll wait and see how it plays out. But oh my God, I mean, I think my reaction to it was probably justified. What the F was that? But man, that was crazy. That was crazy. All right, overall review time, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good show. I mean, you only had one or two, I think one or two bad matches, but everything else was solid to good to even great. I'll give this about an 8 out of 10 for me for this edition of Dynamite. So yeah, there's nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
I'm with you with that. 8 out of 10. Solid. excellent show, no doubt about it. There wasn't really anything bad. I'm gonna take a couple of points away because of that ending. I wasn't a fan of it. I wasn't, but I thought that it was smooth. It was fast paced. There was really nothing bad. Florio, you got the last say on this.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 for me as well. I mean, main event, even with the over the top annex, was still the fight of the night. CM Punk and Lee Moriarty, like I said, once again, credit to Derek Ferreira for not only hyping that, but for being on the ball about it. He absolutely nailed that one to a T. And you had and then you had that Chris Statlander Ruby Soho match, which was very good. Danielson, this magical heel run of his continuing. I'm loving this. I'm loving this heel run of his, and crowd was great. And I mean, I don't know what else there is to say except very good show tonight. 8 out of 10. AEW does it again, and it's onward and upwards to the brand new UBS Arena, the brand new home of the Islanders. We just had a Raw there this past Monday night. And it's going to be there next week on a certain panelist's birthday, not naming any names, Michael Bullock. But, that's just besides the point. But happy birthday to you, Bullock, because next week you're getting an AEW Dynamite show from the UBS Arena in Long Island. And we got a lot of great things to look forward to. Bryan Danielson against John Silver, and, of course, that Dynamite Diamond Battle Royale and whatever else they want to throw at us, which I hope is good. But we don't have to hope. We know it's going to be. So 8 out of 10, nothing more to say. MF, let's put the bow on this thing and let's set the table for what will be a very exciting season finale of College Football Thursday tomorrow.
Yeah, College Football Thursday tomorrow, starting at 10:30 Eastern. We're going through all the conference championship games. It's the big one, guys. ACC, SEC, the big one in the SEC. Playoff implications on that one. Big Ten, Pac-12. Well, actually, Pac-12. Yeah, Pac-12. Big 12. This
American.
The American, because of the fact that we got Cincinnati having a big one. So yeah, without a doubt, this is the biggest.
8 games in total.
8 games all together. There's really nothing else that we're going to want to see. Full in-depth coverage on all those games, because for many of them, this is it, guys. The final push to the college football playoff. And for many of these teams, it's win and you're in. You lose, some other team's door might just open up. So this is going to be the wildest of all. And we're going to get to see it. We're going to get to see the chaos break out. So we'll break it down tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern. Cerebral Smack Talk on Friday. We got, of course, SmackDown, at AEW Rampage, and the preview of War Games, NXT War Games. Saturday, NFL Saturday. Sunday's the War Games recap. We do it all over again on Monday night for Ridiculous Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. So until then, guys, for Michael Bullock, for Anthony Florio, I'm Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.